don't know why I said hello YouTube, because this might be posted on Twitter/X. I can't get used to calling it X. Today I want to talk about main character energy. It's time to start showing up to your life with main character energy. What do I mean by that? You know how the main character in all the movies, the camera follows them, the whole story is about them. So obviously, I want you to show up like that. When you walk into a building, act like it's all about you. And I realize that some people might say that this is arrogant and conceited and selfish and all those things, and there might be some valid points to that. But I will think the underlying thing here that is really simple is that if you don't show up to your life like that, you're probably going to have a little bit more of a miserable life. And not showing up that way could be a reason why you continue to suffer. Because there's a part of you that wants to be the main character of your story, but doesn't feel like the main character of your story. So how do you change that? How do you become the main character of your story? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to promise yourself something, and then you have to keep that promise. For example, if you tell yourself you're going to get up at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever in the morning, you keep that promise to yourself. Because what would a main character do? They would keep that promise. You know those Rocky cut scenes where they go and you see them working out and doing the hard thing? Now, unfortunately, life doesn't work quite that way, to where you do the hard thing for a montage of 10 minutes and then, everything's great. It usually looks like a lot of hours, a lot of weeks, a lot of years of showing up to your life. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't mean every single day that you have to wake up, because you know what? The main character struggles, right? You're allowed to have struggles. You're allowed to have things that are hard for you. But the first steps into getting into that energy is keeping promises to yourself. You said you were going to go to the gym. Go to the gym. You said you were going to wake up early. Wake up early. You said you were going to eat healthier. Eat healthier. That is the way that you start to embody the main character. You become the main character because what you're telling your brain is that I matter, and that I deserve to be taken care of, and that I deserve to be the main character of my life. And of course you do, because it's your life. It's your life. So stop taking a back seat and letting life just kind of pass you by. Start by literally keeping promises that you give yourself. If waking up early is too hard, just make a simple promise to yourself. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but there's so many things. It could be simple as you scroll through TikTok too much. Okay, fine. Scroll through TikTok a little bit less. Tomorrow, say, instead, go look at your usage on your phone and see how much. Oh man, I was on there for 8 hours. Oh, hopefully you're not on there for 8 hours, but don't judge yourself if you are. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna just be on there for 6 hours, and then set timers and keep that promise to yourself. Those small promises that you make to yourself can stack on top, and then make sure you celebrate yourself and give yourself a pat on the back. And it's like, wow, I'm really proud of you for keeping that promise today. And then if you don't keep that promise, be gracious with yourself and be compassionate and say, oh man, why didn't you keep that promise to yourself today? And you can use that as a moment of exploration. You can journal, and you can look into that and try to get to the root of it by asking why, right? But the main point of this video is I just wanted to come on here and say, be the main character of your story, because you are the main character of your story. Everybody that's walking around, it's like, oh, can everyone be the main character? Well, yes, everyone can be the main character. You can be the main character. Pretend that there's a montage of people following you around with cameras. Like, if you were to fast forward to your 85-year-old self and you were able to go and watch your life back, right? I love this frame. It's the frame of the grandpa or whatever it's called. But it's like you look back at your life, but really think about it. Like, if I were to see a video, if I were to see a movie of my life, would I be happy with how it looks right now? Would I be happy with what I'm doing? Would I be happy with how I'm showing up? If the answer is yes, great. If you would love to watch a beautiful movie that is you sitting on the couch and watching Netflix and it's just peaceful, and you're sitting there scrolling on your phone eating popcorn, and like that makes you happy inside, that's beautiful. That's great. If that's what you want, if that's how you want to show up for your life, amazing. But I'd venture to guess that a lot of you don't want to show up that way, and that's okay too. So if you want to show up in your life in a different way, It starts with keeping those small promises to yourself. If you say you're going to get up in the morning, get up in the morning. So go out. Let's do it today. Like, start to be the main character. You walk into a coffee shop, and instead of shying away, like, walk in there. What does a main character do? Think about that. Just think about that for a minute. What would the main character do in a movie? And maybe the main character is a little shy, but what do they have to come into, right? So maybe you start off a little shy, but you have to come into power and confidence, because usually that's how the arc goes in movies, right? And you might have setbacks, because setbacks are a part of life. And unfortunately, in movies, it's usually just one big setback and then it's a happy ending. But life doesn't work that way. It's usually a series of setbacks, one after another, after another, after another. But what's beautiful about it is every single setback that you have, you get a little bit stronger. A little bit setback, a little bit higher. A little setback, a little bit higher. You get better at dealing with those quote unquote setbacks in your life, those quote unquote failures in your life. And you do that by showing up for yourself daily, by keeping the promises that you have to yourself. It can be really hard, and we can beat ourselves up because we don't keep those promises to ourselves when we say we're going to get up in the morning. But then, you know what? Set a more realistic time to get up, right? It's like, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to get it, you usually wake up at 8 and say I'm going to get up at 5. Well, maybe it's just 30 minutes early. Maybe it's just 15 minutes earlier than usual. Start small, because you will be so surprised. Over a year, if you start small, if you just woke up 15 minutes earlier, that adds up. And then it's like, okay, by the next year, 15 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier. And then that is a lot of span of time that you could do a lot of little things in there, from meditation to reading to journaling to all these different things to grow yourself, right? So don't underestimate the power of 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. I think it's easy for us to overestimate how much we can accomplish, in a day, really, or how much we can accomplish in a year. It's underestimate, really, because the thing is, sorry, that got a little confusing, but basically what I'm saying is the time or the reps that you put in daily, consistently, add up over time. So instead of going out and like having to do the really big thing, let's just say you had a goal of doing, 100 push-ups a day. Instead of, if you've never done a push-up before, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day and then start and try to do 100, like, that's a way to set yourself up for failure. Instead, start with 2, start with 5 push-ups today, and build your way up, because the more you do it, the more resilient you get. And that's how we build ourselves. That's how we build ourselves up. That's how you build yourself up to main character energy. It's by keeping the one promise to yourself. Not a million promises, just one. I can't emphasize that enough, because often what we do is we overpromise ourselves, and then we fail, and then we fail again, and then we just have all this proof that we're failures, all this proof that we're giving ourselves that we're failures, and then we take that failure and we take it as our identity. So it's really important that you start with one single promise. I'm going to wake up 5 minutes earlier than I usually do. Simple. Do that every day for a month, consistently. And what you can do is you can pat yourself on the back. Man, I kept that promise to myself today. And then you slowly have these little promises, these little wins that you have building up in your mind, and say, see, I am a winner. I do keep promises. And then the next promise you make, same thing, a little bit earlier, 5 minutes earlier. Do the same thing, a month. Keep those promises. This is how we start to step into the main character energy. This is how you become the main character of the story. And I'm here to tell you that you are the main character of the story. You just have to figure out how you want to live, how you want to go from the shy, not confident person to the person that's at the end of the story, that's confident, that knows that they can do a thing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have doubt in the future, but right now you know that you can do the thing, that you are capable, that you are enough. Anyway, I hope that resonates with some of you. I just had to get on here because I'm feeling this main character energy in my life, and I want you to feel that too, because it is a powerful tool. It's a powerful thing to have. And if you're not showing up as the main character, then you're secondary to your own life, and you don't want to be secondary to your own life. You don't want to be. Thanks for watching. Much love.